Jasmine Crockett is not just a politician. She is a force of nature, a woman who went from fighting in the courtroom to commanding the political stage. With an estimated net worth of $9 million, many wonder, how did she build such success? How did a small-town girl from St. Louis, Missouri, rise to power in Texas politics? The answer is not what you might expect. Her journey was not handed to her. She fought for it. She built it, case by case, battle by battle. But before she became a well-known name in law and politics, there was a moment that changed everything. At first, Jasmine's path seemed ordinary. She excelled in school, pursued a college degree, and appeared to be heading toward a traditional career in medicine or accounting. A stable life, a predictable future. But destiny had other plans. In college, something happened. Something that would shake her to her core. An event is so personal, so painful, that it would shift the course of her entire life. She became a victim of hate crimes, not just once, repeatedly. Imagine the fear, the anger, the helplessness. But Jasmine was not the type to back down. Instead of letting it break her, she found a new purpose. She wanted justice, and she was determined to get it. With the Cochran law firm representing her during this dark time, Jasmine saw the legal system up close. She saw the power that lawyers had, the ability to fight back, to stand up for those who had no voice. At that moment, she made a decision. She would become a lawyer. She would not just fight for herself, she would fight for others. That decision changed everything. It was the beginning of a journey that would take her from the halls of a courtroom to the floors of Congress. But her rise would not be easy. It would be filled with obstacles, controversy, and battles that would test her strength at every turn. To understand her success, we need to go back to where it all began. Jasmine Crockett's journey did not begin with power or politics. It started in St. Louis, Missouri, where she was born on March 29, 1981. She was raised in a world that valued hard work, education, and perseverance. From an early age, she showed signs of ambition, the kind of drive that set her apart. She was not just another bright student. She was determined to stand out. Her parents believed in the power of education and made sure she had access to the best opportunities. Jasmine attended some of the most prestigious schools in St. Louis, including the Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School, institutions known for shaping the future leaders of America. Later, she moved to Rosati Kane, an all-girls Catholic high school. These schools were not just about academics. They were about molding strong, independent thinkers, and Jasmine thrived. She was competitive, sharp, and always striving for excellence. Even at a young age, she carried herself with confidence, as if she already knew she was meant for something bigger. Despite her bold personality and natural leadership, Jasmine's early dreams were far from the world of law and politics. She saw herself in a traditional career, medicine or accounting, a profession that was stable, respected, and financially secure. She was good with numbers. She had the discipline for long hours of study. Her parents supported her ambitions, believing that she would build a successful career in one of these fields. Everything seemed set. She was following the right steps, making the right moves. After high school, Jasmine enrolled at Rhodes College, a well-respected institution known for producing top professionals in business, law, and medicine. There, she pursued a Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration, a degree that would prepare her for the corporate world. She was on track for success. A future in finance or accounting seemed within reach. But life is unpredictable, and sometimes a single event can change everything. During her time in college, Jasmine became a victim of hate crimes. It was not just one incident, it was repeated harassment, the kind of experience that leaves scars, that shakes a person's sense of security. She was young, ambitious, and full of promise. But suddenly, she was forced to confront a harsh reality. The world was not as fair as she once believed. She could have stayed silent. She could have ignored it. But that was not who she was. Instead, she sought justice. She fought back. She was represented by the Cochran law firm, one of the most respected legal teams in the country, and for the first time she saw the legal system in action. She saw the power of the law not as an abstract idea, but as a real force that could fight injustice. That moment changed her. She no longer wanted to just build a career, she wanted to make a difference. Her vision shifted. Her ambitions took a new shape. She no longer saw herself sitting behind a desk calculating numbers. She wanted to be in the courtroom, standing up for those who had no voice. The very system that once seemed distant now became her greatest weapon. From that moment on, she was on a new path, one that would take her to the front lines of justice and, eventually, into the world of politics. Jasmine Crockett's life was set on a stable path. She had planned for a future in business or medicine, careers that promised security and success. But sometimes life does not go as planned. In college, something happened that shattered her sense of safety and changed the course of her life forever. It was not an academic struggle or a financial problem. It was something much darker, a hate crime. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly, Jasmine became a target. The kind of hate that makes a person feel powerless, the kind that makes them question everything. She had worked hard and played by the rules, and yet she found herself facing attacks simply because of who she was. At first, she did not know what to do. She was young, focused on her future, and not the type to look for trouble, but trouble had found her. The fear was real, the anger was real. And she was left with two choices: stay silent or fight back. She chose to fight. She knew this was bigger than her. This was about justice, about proving that no one should have to live in fear because of their identity. But how do you fight a system that often looks the other way? How do you stand up against something so deeply rooted? Jasmine needed help, and that is when she found the Cochran Law Firm. The Cochran Law Firm was not just any legal team. It was one of the most respected civil rights firms in the country. Founded by Johnny Cochran, the legendary lawyer who defended high-profile figures and fought against injustice. When Jasmine walked into their office, she was no longer just a victim. She was a young woman ready to take a stand. For the first time, she saw the legal system up close. She sat in meetings, listened to her attorneys, and watched as they turned her pain into a legal battle. It was eye-opening. She saw how lawyers could demand accountability, how they could bring the truth to light, and most importantly, how they could change lives. This experience awakened something in her. She had once thought her future would be about numbers, finances, and stability, but now she realized she wanted more. She did not just want a career, she wanted a purpose. She wanted to fight for people who had been silenced. She wanted to stand up for those who had no one to defend them. She had always been a fighter, but now she knew where she needed to channel that energy. She would become a lawyer. That decision was not just about her. It was about making sure that no one else would have to go through what she went through. She was ready to step into a world where battles were fought with evidence, arguments, and laws, instead of fear and violence. And once she made that choice, there was no turning back. Jasmine Crockett was no longer just a survivor of injustice. She was on a mission. She had seen firsthand how the legal system could change lives, and she wanted to be part of that change. With a clear purpose, she enrolled at the University of Houston Law Center, a school known for shaping some of the best legal minds in the country. The classrooms were filled with ambitious students, all eager to make their mark. But Jasmine was different. She was not there for prestige or wealth. She was there to fight. Every case she studied, every law she learned, brought her one step closer to the battlefield she had chosen: the courtroom. After earning her Juris Doctor in 2006, Jasmine stepped into the legal world with fire in her eyes. She could have joined a corporate firm, chasing high salaries and comfortable offices. Instead, she went where the battle was toughest. She became a public defender in Bowie County, representing people who could not afford their lawyers. These were not high-profile clients. They were ordinary people, often forgotten by the system. People faced serious charges, sometimes without even understanding their rights. Jasmine fought for them, not just as an attorney, but as a voice for those who had none. She stood in courtrooms challenging prosecutors, exposing weak evidence, and making sure that justice was not just for the wealthy. But even that was not enough. She saw how the system worked. She saw that many of her clients were victims of something bigger, a cycle of poverty, racial bias, and legal injustice. She knew she needed more control and more freedom to fight the way she wanted. So, she took a bold step. She started her law firm. This was not just about running a business, it was about taking cases no one else wanted to take. She fought for civil rights, she defended people who had been wrongly accused. She built a reputation as a fearless advocate, someone who did not back down, no matter how tough the case. Then came a turning point. The country was in turmoil, the streets were filled with protests. The Black Lives Matter movement was at its peak, demanding justice for those who had lost their lives to police brutality. Jasmine did not just watch from the sidelines. She took action. She began representing activists, many of whom had been arrested while fighting for change, and she did it for free. Her pro bono work became widely known, earning her both admiration and enemies. Some saw her as a hero, others saw her as a threat. But one thing was clear: Jasmine Crockett was not afraid. Her work did not go unnoticed. Judges, lawyers, and even politicians began to take note of her. She had proven that she was not just another lawyer, she was a force for justice. But as much as she had achieved, she knew the courtroom had its limits. Some battles could not be won in legal arguments alone. If she wanted to change the system, she needed a bigger platform. She needed power. And there was only one place where she could get it. But the courtroom wasn't enough for her. She wanted bigger change. Jasmine Crockett had spent years fighting in the courtroom, standing up for those who had been silenced by the system. But the more she worked, the more she realized something troubling. Many of the problems she fought against were not just legal issues, they were political ones. Laws were written and enforced by people in power. And if she truly wanted to make a difference, she needed to be where those decisions were made. She needed to step into the world of politics. In 2019, an opportunity appeared. Eric Johnson, a Texas legislator, left his seat in the Texas House of Representatives to become the mayor of Dallas. The seat was open, and Jasmine saw a chance to bring her fight for justice to a higher level. She ran in the special election, fueled by the same passion that had driven her legal career. But passion was not enough. She faced a tough race and ultimately lost. For most people, that would have been the end. But Jasmine was not like most people. She was not a quitter. The very next year, she ran again, this time in the 2020 Democratic primary runoff. The race was brutal. It was not just about policies. It was about proving she had the strength, the resilience, and the vision to lead. And this time, she won. She had fought her way into the Texas House of Representatives, and she was just getting started. But the real turning point came in 2021, when a political legend made a decision that would change everything. Eddie Bernice Johnson, a veteran U.S. representative from Texas's 30th Congressional District, announced that she would not be seeking re-election. Johnson had been in Congress for decades. She was respected and powerful and had built a legacy. Replacing her was no small task. Many wanted the seat. The competition was fierce. But then something happened that changed the game. Johnson made a choice. She endorsed Jasmine Crockett. It was a moment that turned Jasmine from a rising star into a real political contender. But endorsements alone do not win elections. Campaigns need resources. Jasmine's campaign received a major boost when she secured a $1 million donation from Sam Bankman-Fried's PAC, Protect Our Future. It was a controversial contribution, linking her campaign to the cryptocurrency industry, but it gave her the financial firepower to compete on a bigger stage. In 2022, she faced a tough opponent. Jane Hope Hamilton, a political strategist with experience and connections. The battle went to a runoff election, a final test to see who would take the congressional seat. And once again, Jasmine proved she was a fighter. She won decisively, securing her place as the new representative for Texas's 30th Congressional District. She had gone from defending clients in court to writing laws in Congress, but if anyone thought she would quietly blend into the political system, they were wrong. Jasmine was not there to follow the rules, she was there to change them. Her time in Congress was anything but quiet. Jasmine Crockett was never afraid to take a stand. She built her career fighting for justice, and when she stepped into Congress, she brought that same fire with her. She was not there to sit quietly or follow the crowd. She was there to challenge the system, to call out hypocrisy, and to make sure her voice was heard. And in 2023, she made headlines for doing just that. One of her most controversial moves was voting against the Fiscal Responsibility Act. The bill, aimed at addressing government spending and debt, had wide support from both parties. But Jasmine was not convinced. She believed it failed to protect working-class Americans and sided too much with corporate interests. Her vote stood out. It was a statement that she would not blindly follow party lines if she believed something was wrong. Her strong stance on international issues also made waves. When the Hamas attack on Israel sparked global debates, Jasmine supported the U.S. aid package to Israel, aligning herself with those who saw it as a critical move for security and diplomacy. But in a time when political tensions were high, any position on international conflicts invited both support and criticism. Her decision was praised by some and heavily questioned by others. But Jasmine did not back down. She made it clear. Her votes were based on principle, not popularity. Then came one of the biggest moments of her political career. The impeachment hearings for President Joe Biden became a battleground in Congress, and Jasmine found herself face-to-face with one of the most polarizing figures in American politics, Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was a moment that would go viral. In a heated debate, Greene launched into attacks on Biden, pushing for impeachment with what Jasmine saw as weak evidence. Jasmine did not hold back. She clashed with Greene directly, exposing what she called Republican hypocrisy, and then she did something that took over social media. She pulled out photos from the FBI search of Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, showing classified documents stored in unsecured places, including a bathroom. The moment was explosive. With sharp wit and bold delivery, she threw Republican arguments back at them, saying, "These are our national secrets. Looks like a toilet to me." The clip spread across platforms, making her a rising star in political commentary. But Jasmine was not done making headlines. At the 2024 Democratic National Convention, she delivered a speech that sent shockwaves through the political world. In a speech filled with sharp humor and fearless criticism, she compared Donald Trump to Kamala Harris, taking direct aim at Trump's handling of classified information. With a smirk, she told the crowd, "He keeps national secrets next to his thinking chair. Y'all remember what I said last time." The crowd erupted in laughter and applause. The internet took notice. Her speech became one of the most talked-about moments of the event, proving once again that Jasmine was not just a politician. She was a force to be reckoned with. Her fiery personality and fearless approach to politics had earned her both admirers and enemies. She had become a symbol of bold, unapologetic leadership. But while her battles in Congress kept the headlines buzzing, there was another side of her life that sparked just as much curiosity. Because beyond politics, her lavish lifestyle had drawn just as much attention. Jasmine Crockett's bold personality is not just reflected in her politics, it is woven into every detail of her luxurious lifestyle. In the heart of Houston, Texas, she owns a breathtaking $2 million mansion, a property that is not just a home, but a statement. Spanning 4,195 square feet, this house is a symbol of elegance and success, designed with both comfort and grandeur in mind. Every inch of it reflects her journey from the courtroom to the halls of Congress, a space where power meets sophistication. The mansion boasts 4 spacious bedrooms and 4.5 bathrooms, each crafted with high-end finishes. The master suite is a sanctuary, offering custom walk-in closets, a spa-like bathroom, and floor-to-ceiling windows that flood the space with natural light. But this is more than just a place to sleep. It is a retreat, a private world where Jasmine can step away from the noise of politics and unwind in absolute comfort. The bathrooms are fitted with luxury soaking tubs, LED vanity mirrors, and designer fixtures, giving every morning a 5-star hotel experience. At the heart of the home is a stunning open-concept kitchen, a space that blends beauty with functionality. A solid wood center island stands as the room's centerpiece, surrounded by stone countertops and top-of-the-line appliances. Pendant lighting hovers over the sleek bar area, while LED wallpaper adds a modern touch, giving the kitchen a soft, ambient glow. It is not just a space for cooking, it is a space for hosting, where power dinners